Good morning, everybody. It's Happy Wednesday to you, Wisdom Wednesday, and my name is Jade Alberts, and I focus on small business development through social marketing, content creation, and I consider myself a workplace strategist. But today, we have a special guest to talk HR. We have Michelle Berg of Elevated HR with us. Hello, Michelle.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yes, Happy New Year, and how has business started off so far in 2018?
Well, for us, it's been kind of like a bang. We knew in December already that we were going to start to that January is going to be something else for us. And as of January 4th, we actually knew that this was going to be the biggest month in the history of Elevated. So it's been pretty awesome, pretty busy, crazy for sure, but it's been great.
Oh, that's awesome. And you're shooting this in Banff today. Must be tough to be in Banff and not being outside on a ski hill.
Yeah. And my view is pretty awesome too.
Oh, that's a great view. I like that much better than my view. Well, I'll give a little brief introduction for about Michelle. Michelle had a concept that knew small businesses couldn't afford to have an HR department. She knew that strategic HR wasn't just a big company requirement. It was an every company requirement. Her goal was to build a company that provided those with small and medium-sized business with a low-cost solution to their human resource needs so they could truly be great leaders and managers. So that is really why you started Elevated HR. So in the terms of the small business thing, I guess, why do small businesses need, an HR department or, a remote HR department like yourself?
Well, I wouldn't say that they need an HR department, that's for sure. But I do think that they need to focus on, all businesses need to focus on people and culture. The truth is they become their best brand ambassadors and honestly their best marketers for the company. So if there's a true focus on people and culture and how you interact with each other, you're going to get so much more both internally and externally. At the end of the day, happy clients typically means happy employees and vice versa.
Oh, definitely. Very, very, very true. Culture is so important. I guess there's always such a negative, stigmatization with HR. Is it still viewed that way, even in smaller companies? The 5 to 10 type people, do they think, oh, I only need HR if I have a problem? Like, what other type of things can you provide them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and a lot of times I often find small businesses or new businesses have started because they've left big business and they don't want to be there anymore. So they come with a big business stigma of what HR is. Either they're the policy police or they're the nags of the organization or they're the no department. And quite honestly, that's how I felt even when I was running an HR department in a bigger company. That's how we were labeled. So yeah, we get a lot of resistance in a lot of ways about that's what big HR looks like. But when we focus on HR, we really focus on in terms of employee experience. How are employees feeling? What are they seeing? What are they hearing? And how is that translating back out into the client or customer experience? We try to mirror both of those things so that it actually helps your HR to be, again, it's that marriage between HR and marketing, if you will.
Oh no, for sure. That's very, very, very true. So when you talk about marrying that, what type of solutions do you have for small businesses when it comes to, do you offer like X amount of hours, or do you have to have a retainer, or like any type of contracts? Do you do them with clients?
Yeah, I mean, our typical business is definitely retainer because we feel like we have to live and breathe with you. It's not as easy as just flying in, doing a couple of projects, and then flying out. We like to get a feel for the leaders, but that's typical. But for smaller businesses that are just getting off the ground, we also have an HR in the box solution where we'll work with you to create all those initial things: employment agreements, how to recruit, policies and procedures, manuals, training and development initiatives that you can start yourself, even different types of curriculum that you can start yourself, performance management plans and KPIs and how to tie those to your business plan, for example. And And then, of course, we've also got templates for in case of terminations and how to walk you through that. So we've tried to really focus on the very small to give them this HR in a box feeling. But then we also think further out, and the more that we can, help you to build, for the future growth, the easier it is when you're really small, actually. So that's where we come in often. But we've got, a number of solutions depending on what your needs are.
Well, that's excellent. And I know that, I know a few people that you work with, and they speak extremely highly of Elevated HR, yourself and your entire team. So yeah, absolutely. So if you do have any questions, anybody, please type them in. If Michelle and I can't get to them here, we will definitely answer them after this interview is over. So I guess we've talked about the benefits of HR, I guess what I want to say, like, should, small businesses have that? Like, why should they, when you say a business plan and you can put that HR in a box, what is the number one thing that you would recommend for small business with that? Why should they have it?
In terms of the actual human resources activities, or just even putting people and culture as part of their overall business plan?
I guess touch base maybe on both of those.
Well, again, most people just end up, when they start a business and they hire their first one or two employees, everything just kind of happens organically, and there isn't a plan for it. And most of the time we see that's where disagreements happen or misalignment happens. The other thing is, being an entrepreneur myself, even with my own team, I inherently know that they're never going to care as much as me. This is my baby as a small business owner. Yes. But on the flip side, I want to give them some sort of foundation. I want to give them purpose, and I want to give them the opportunity to help me to move this business forward. So when I include different initiatives inside the business plan that are people related, everything from the moment that they come in, what does that look like in terms of onboarding? What experience do I want them to have? To being super transparent with compensation. How will they move up in terms of pay? What are those things that they need to do? I don't want there to be any misgivings or any tension in that area. So that's why, to me, it's super important that I do give a focus in terms of my business plan, but also when they're connected to the business plan and they get to see the business plan, they're going to help me reach those numbers even further as well. So the number one thing is, I think if I'm starting out as a growing business, I want to have a solid recruiting plan. I want to start working on my brand and who I am, because why would anyone work with a no-name brand? Nobody knows you. So even if you're a small company, start focusing on that brand first, so that when you finally are posting and looking for new people know who you are. And what's your employer value proposition? That's where I would start. Then I would have your employment agreement. I love prenups. And I employment agreement often as that, where it can outline all the expectations. And so that it's fair for both of you. There's no misgivings there. And then I would definitely have put in a performance management plan. And it's not about competencies or necessarily behaviors, but I would have it values driven. What are the things that I'm looking for from a values perspective? And then what are those activities that I'm going to put in from tying it to an overall business plan or performance management plan? What do I need to do to help the business move forward? If I've got those couple of things in place as a small business, I'm not going to have to worry about the people management as much, because this then becomes the framework for them to manage themselves, which ultimately gives them the autonomy that most people look for in their careers.
Oh, that's excellent advice. Excellent advice. I guess to end it on our last, my last question, or our last little conversation here. I guess if you have two, you're going to be co-founders, like say you and I are going to start a business, what would you recommend, to have in place, just not to say, write it on the back of a napkin saying, yeah, we're 50-50 and let's go from there. Is there something you would recommend for co-founders?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. It's that prenup situation where you're certainly figuring out exactly what does the future look like. And when you guys are madly in love, that's the best time to plan out what does the breakup look like. So You know, is there a shotgun clause to that you can trigger in terms of getting out? What is it? What sweat equity? What is sweat equity worth versus monetary equity? And how are you going to actually track that in the beginning? Those tough conversations when you're going into it with a co-founder is absolutely necessary at the onset. And then having a clear division of authority is also incredibly important. Which decisions do you need to make together, and which decisions are you okay with making on your own? All those things kind of need to be out on the table before moving forward, I think, because I've seen too many partnerships end terribly wrong.
Oh, I bet you have. And it's not nice to get involved at that point, I'm sure.
No, not at all. And then if you have employees, the stress on those employees then gets translated out to your customers and clients, which can be completely detrimental to the brand.
Oh, absolutely. Well, excellent. Thank you very much, Michelle, for joining us today and sharing your knowledge and wisdom with our viewers.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for having
Excellent.
me.
Well, a wonderful conversation. Again, Michelle Berg of Elevated HR. They're based out of Calgary, Alberta. If you have any HR questions or looking for solutions, you can reach out to myself. I can put you in touch with Michelle, or of course you can contact Michelle herself. Next week we'll be talking about e-learning, and again 9:30 every Wednesday. And have yourself a great day. Thanks again, Michelle, and we will see you guys next week.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.